Hello and welcome to week 2 of Liturgies and Pentecostal Ministry. I am glad to start another week with you and kind of get the glitches out of the way of last week. Some of the grades got a little messed up this week, and some of you are still needing to get your materials. I understand that. I will say that I've enjoyed your posts, those of you that have posted, but I am looking for a little bit more engagement with one another. Some of you haven't given enough engagement to other students, and that is a part of the discussion grade, and so I'll be looking for more of that this week. And even if you don't have your materials yet, if you don't have Tom Tumberland's book, please engage on the discussion page. First of all, it lets me know that you're here in the class. That's part of the attendance. But you'll also be able to get a good feel through the various quotes and the summaries of what's in the book, and so that'll help you keep caught up with the material, even if you don't have the book yet. Well, we'll be talking about Pentecostal spirituality, and I'm so pleased that Tumberland included a chapter on this in his book on worship and the sacraments. It's such an important topic. I mean, everybody has a spirituality. Even atheists have an understanding of God. It's negative, but they have an understanding. And so spirituality is an important theological construct that is important for us as students of the Word, as Bible students, and some of you as you move into scholarship. That's an important topic. I mean, what differentiates Christian spirituality from other faiths' spirituality? And then within the greater Christian work, what differentiates Pentecostal spirituality from, let's say, Catholic or Lutheran or Baptist? I mean, Pentecostalism isn't just Baptist or Reformed theology with tongues stuck on the end there to kind of enhance it, right? No, there's something powerful. There's something unique, let me just say that, about Pentecostal spirituality that kind of sets us apart from other faith traditions. And so we'll be discussing that this week and in Tumberland's chapter 2. And just a couple of notes on that. First of all, Dan is going to explore deeper what we mean by the fivefold gospel. This is something that we're mostly all familiar with, you know, and already as Pentecostals, we believe that Jesus is our Savior, Sanctifier, Spirit Baptizer, Healer, and soon coming King, kind of the fivefold or full gospel. We've heard that most all of our lives, and he'll be exploring those deeper. Another aspect of Dan's book, and this is really one of the beautiful things about Dan's scholarship, is that he begins here in this chapter to integrate writings from the patristic fathers. And what we mean by that is the early church fathers. One of the challenges that we have as Pentecostals is that, within our 100 years of history, 100 plus years now, and as we go into the 21st century, we're challenged because we have tried and attempted to kind of go back to an authentic New Testament type of church practices and all those things, worship, and it's somewhat challenging because, I mean, after all, I mean, really, do we want to become like the Corinthians or the Galatians church? No, I don't think so. I mean, there's some things that we want to avoid, and of course we have the Bible to help us walk through those things. But in one sense, what Pentecostals have done is we have neglected 2,000 years of history. And I think that's to our detriment. And Dan does a really nice job of integrating patristic writings, these writings of the early church fathers, back into the conversation. I think that's a real positive for this book. One of the negatives that I have this week, and it is important for me, but here in Dan's discussion on Pentecostal spirituality, he fails to even engage Steve Land. Steve Land is a scholar, a churchman. He used to be the president of the Pentecostal Theological Seminary. He was a professor and then a dean before that. He's a churchman. He planted a church in Atlanta and was engaged in the civil rights movement down there and really had a ministry right there in the heart of Atlanta for many, many years. The work is still going. But in 1993, Dr. Land wrote a book. It's actually his dissertation entitled Pentecostal Spirituality. For me, how can you write on Pentecostal spirituality and not engage that book? Because I really believe that that book is unique in its approach. It's talking about the Pentecostal spirituality more than just speaking in tongues, more than just the power of the Spirit. But what does that mean for our affections? How does that transform us? What does that mean as we identify as Pentecostals? And I'll be honest with you, I'm real disappointed that Tumberland doesn't engage Land. And so I'm going to just encourage you to get Steve Land's book, Pentecostal Spirituality. You can find it on Amazon, really cheap. For me, it's a must to have in your library. But one of the other people that is important and influential on Pentecostal spirituality is Harvey Cox. You need to get familiar with that name, Harvey Cox. He wrote a book in 1994, I believe. No, excuse me, 94. Called Fire from Heaven. Now, Harvey Cox is what we might label as a liberal theologian. He's a professor, perhaps professor emeritus at Harvard. He's retired now, but he still engages and is a part of that community. But in 1965, Harvey Cox wrote a book called The Secular City. And in that book, he basically said that the church is done with. Secularism is going to come in and kind of take the world globally, and we are going to become a secular society, a secular city. And just really had a real pessimistic outlook on spirituality, on the church, on Christianity, and it was widely read. It was it just, you know, it became widely popular both in the academy as well as in the church, and just a real pessimistic outview of Christianity. However, in 1994, he reverses himself, and he takes note of something that has now become a global phenomenon. And he actually predicted it way before it actually became. He took note of Pentecostals, and it almost gives me chills to think about this liberal theologian actually purposefully engaged Pentecostalism, not only in scholarship and in the academy, but he actually went into Pentecostal churches, experienced our worship, experienced our spirituality, and he wrote about it. And Fire from Heaven was actually one of the first academic, really seriously academic books on Pentecostalism. And in one sense, it's one of the things that helped catapult Pentecostalism into the greater conversation within scholarship. And it's an important read, and you will not be disappointed in reading through Fire from Heaven. Again, I'm going to put those links for Steve Land and Harvey Cox on the lesson page, and so you'll find that there. Well, keep up the good work. Have a great week. Get in there and engage with your other students along with your posts, and I will be seeing you online. God bless. Bye-bye.